Welcome back, Watchmen. Let's analyze. The Great Scroll of 2025 has finally been unsealed, revealing both the scars of a long campaign and the first signs of a prosperous harvest. As we pivot from the losses of the past, the chart begins to trace the outline of a new era. The early watch began at the price at the 80-cent mark, showing a choppy upward momentum that tested the cold morning air. By the morning's first light, an advance towards 91 cents was met with rejection, forcing a retreat to the 78-cent floor, where a defensive bounce formed as the dawn broke. The bulls attempted another climb during the pre-bell skirmish, reaching 87 cents before the high-stakes investor council commenced. Sentiment soured as the council progressed, sending price into a steady decline as the realms prepared for the opening bell. The gates swung wide, with price just below the 80-cent line. The selling intensified into a violent collapse, then bottomed at 69 cents. A desperate bounce formed at that low depth as the weaker soldiers met their demise, but the struggle through the midday heat was grueling. Price was repelled from the 82-cent defenses and sank to find a secondary floor at 74 cents, as the afternoon lull set in. For a time, the line mysteriously flatlined at 76 cents as the two armies stood frozen in stasis. With the final hour approaching, the stasis was lifted, and a late-day surge reclaimed the momentum, driving the ticker upward into a 79-cent close at the end of battle. The long-awaited 10K yesterday confirmed Q4 as the first profitable quarter in the history of the kingdom, though the full year remained in the red. Alongside the financial scrolls, the Crown announced the finalization of the NYIAX acquisition for 79 million shares. Everyone is frightened of delusion, but these new assets are protected by a 12-month seal, ensuring that they do not float immediately. The path forward now is clear. The dollar wall must be shattered to allow the great titans of active growth to board the vessel. The daily hammer we see stands as a monument to those who held the 69-cent floor. We have turned the page in the saga, but the climb back to the dollar mark remains a steep and narrow path. Let's move to the watchtower window so we can view the charts. Alright, looking at the daily. See this nice long wick to the downside forming the daily candle. Got a nice hammer here, which is technically bullish for the next candle in the series. Tomorrow is Friday as well, so those two things will hopefully line up and we get some nice action on the day. We didn't get an episode yesterday because I was doing the 10K video, but we did come right up here to the dollar mark before we got rejected. I imagine, that's a very strong psychological level, so there was probably a lot of sell orders there, which is one of the reasons we did get rejected. But again, this hammer is a testament to the fact that even though we sank so far today, we climbed all the way back and then some. If it was really as bad as everybody was afraid it was going to be, we would have closed down here, or even down here. But we fought all the way back up and closed a little bit green. Not bad at all. Now let's dive a little deeper. We will zoom in on the hourly, and we can see that there are no new zones formed on the day, even though we had quite a good bit of volume. I still don't know how much of that was necessarily institutional, and there was just no good setups for a valid zone here. We actually did come down and bounce off of the SMA, not once but twice. The descent here during after hours yesterday stopped exactly on the 67-cent line, which is the fifth time that it's bounced from its exact spot. We can consider that a pretty safe floor. The drop here didn't even come down that far. It stopped at 69 cents. So I really don't think we have a whole lot to worry about. And given the hammer candle on the daily chart, I'm feeling pretty good about tomorrow. From a technical standpoint, it looks good. Alright, now we can zoom in a little bit more. Let's dive a little deeper and honor the candle of the day. Now, the lady of the watch, if anybody watched her video, she chose this one here, her baby giraffe, which is not a bad choice. I was actually going to choose this one over here. Oh, it's still pink. Whatever. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one here. It had a decent amount of volume. It wasn't the highest on the day. That was the first closing candle, the first opening candle. But this is the one that got us out, started the ascent out of the trenches, and helped us to build back to a good level here. So this one's the lady's choice, and this one is mine. Alright, now we can back out for the important part, the forecast for tomorrow. Let's say, zoom in a little bit more here. Now, okay, so given that we bounced off of it 1, 2, and 3 times, I think we're going to do the same exact thing tomorrow. I imagine that we'll probably get a little dip here at the open, but now that people are processing the quote-unquote dilution from the NIAX deal not being immediate, we should get a good little get a good rise after tomorrow. Now we might come back down and test this one again before we bounce the second time. We're probably going to close somewhere under the high for the day, and I don't know if we'll climb all the way back up. We could. If we get significant volume over 100 million, we can very well take this up here and retest that dollar level. Now, if I'm wrong about that, and some unknown bad deal surfaces, we could for sure come back and test this 67 floor again. And if we do break it, we'll revisit this demand zone down here. But we haven't gone further down than 64 in this demand zone, so I doubt we'll go very far into it at all if this happens, and we'll probably end up doing something like this. Again, that's a worst case scenario, and I'm definitely, technically, I'm leaning more towards a green day tomorrow. Alright, now, before we go, I'd like to mention that we need to vote in that community poll. Tomorrow's the last day. Looks like we're going to be doing supply and demand. Like I said before, that's going to be a good class. I think a lot of people are interested in supply and demand, how it works, how it functions. Because once we start seeing some more institutional investment, they're going to pop up a lot more on the chart, and they are very effective places for entries and or exits when you are they're day trading or like scalping. Less effective for the swing trades and position trades, but very effective for scalping and day trading. You can find a link to the Discord in the comments below. This is not an advertisement. We don't charge anything. You can come and hang out and share your viewpoints and get a bunch of other viewpoints and ask me questions, and ask anybody else some questions. I also have a link to the merch shop where I have a bunch of DVLT merchandise, and it's the feedback from the customers so far has been positive. Everybody likes it. It's pretty cool designs. I should check that out, and we'll be back tomorrow. So until the end of all things, the Night Watch stands forever.